So I'm going to introduce our first speaker. His name is Anthony Smith. He's with the Mayor's Office of Louisville. And he was a speaker at our first event in Lexington. And quite simply, I was blown away. First of all, that he came to Lexington to show teamwork, to show a united message. We believe that the more united the message is, the more powerful it'll be and the more substantial progress we see. So Mr. Smith from the Mayor's Office came all the way down from Louisville to tell Lexington what he was doing. And what he's doing is quite amazing. The city of Louisville is so lucky to have him, and Mayor Fisher, he has a great eye for people, that's all I have to say. So I'm going to introduce him to you now, and right here in his hometown, Anthony Smith from Mayor Fisher's office.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good morning. So good to see you all brave it out and come out in the cold for this very important topic. I really wanted to thank Doug and his team for all of their commitment to this issue, for always rallying and saying to people, let's find solutions. We all know what the issues are and what the problems are. Doug and his team are really looking for solutions and asking the rest of us to look for solutions to this issue and really start working on it from the root causes and the grassroots, and really bring in space for everybody to be at the table. I just want to do a couple of quick things around this conversation, because I would really rather have a conversation with you all than just be up here talking, because I can talk about this stuff all day. But I really want to have some real conversation about solutions, and I think that's why people are here today, to figure out what can we do to really make a difference in what's going on in our community. So when Mayor Fisher started this journey around this violence prevention work, he's been real clear that this is from prenatal all the way to citizens returning home. So we want to think about what happens before a child comes into the world, and as they go along their journey from graduating from high school, going on to college and career, but also those who happen to make mistakes. How do we help those returning citizens coming back from prison, coming back from college, coming back from being in a rehab center? How do we help them reintegrate back into the community? So this is not just about one certain population. This is across the board. And Mayor Fisher has also been real clear that it's going to take all of us, all 760,000 of us, working together to really address this issue. So this is not a West End issue. It's not a South End issue or East End issue. This is a Louisville issue, and that we all got to be on board to really pay attention to it. When you look at the numbers, we've lost over 200 people to violence this year. Right? When we talk about violence, we're not just talking about homicides. We lost 48 folks to homicides already this year. We lost 82 to suicides. And we've lost 71 to overdose. So 201 people have lost their lives to a violent act this year. And think about the number of people who have been shot, who have made it to the university hospital, who have been saved because of the great folks that we have at the university hospital. Think about the number of people who have attempted suicides who are now saved. And think about the number of people who have taken maybe too many drugs and had an overdose, but the people, the first responders, the hospitals, and folks that can really help them get back on their feet and get back to life. So we got a lot of work to do around this issue, and I want to make sure that people understand that my role and what we're here to do is really to look at systems. How do we change the systems that either push people out into these lifestyles, stop them from coming back in? People, when you think about education, you think about poverty, you think about the unemployment rate, right? There's certain pockets in our community who have an unemployment rate of 22%. What else do you do, right? You move into a lifestyle that puts you at a greater risk of losing your life. Either you're selling drugs, you're taking drugs to figure out a way to get out of that system, right? So we're looking at a long-term fix. We're not looking at an overnight. There's nothing that we can do overnight to change where we are, because we've been at this for a long time. On average, if you look at the numbers, on average, any year we're losing either 42 people to 65 people to homicides. That goes all the way back to the 70s. right? So when we talk about we're at a state of emergency, we've been at a state. What have we done and what are we going to do now, right? So when you think about looking at how you change systems, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of moving pieces, and it takes all of us being engaged in the conversation and going towards a common goal. And the common goal is how do we create better outcomes for the targeted populations who we know are not receiving them. When Doug talked about paying specific attention to young African American males, you got to. Look at the numbers across the country. Who are we losing to homicides? Who's committing the homicides, right? So you got to look at both sides, right? The shootings that happened last week. If we don't intervene in those kids' lives, they're going to end up being one of those red dots that we talk about. So somebody's got to say, we know who they are. Yes, they were just shot and they survived, but what are we doing to get them from that lifestyle back into school, back into college, and at a job that can help them take care of the needs that they want to take care of? I don't think anybody wakes up and says, I'm going to go shoot somebody, I want to be shot. That's not the lifestyle folks want to live. But they are moving in that direction because some of our systems have pushed them out, and the communities that they live in at times have turned their backs on them and said, go fend for yourself. Right, so we've got a lot of work to do, and we've been doing a lot of work. I want to just talk a little bit about a couple of things that we're doing, and then I'll let you all move on with the day, and I'm going to hang out for as long as I can, because I think this is a very important conversation that we need to be a part of. So when you think about targeting populations, the mayor's real clear that this is data-driven, outcome-driven, and we got to be able to measure goals. So when you look at all of these numbers, and you start looking at the data and you start figuring out who are we losing most to homicides. We're losing African American males between the age of 18 and 30. So when do we figure out what kind of programs, what kind of interventions can we put in place to really start addressing that issue, right? So we've been doing a couple of things. One thing that we just started is community accountability boards. Community accountability boards are targeting 18 to 25-year-olds. We're starting in the Parkland neighborhood, 18 to 25, young folks who have committed misdemeanors, right? So they've not made their way to a felony yet, but their track record shows that if they keep moving in the same path that they're going in, then they will be our next felons and they'll have a harder time finding a job. So what we're doing is that when they get pulled over or get arrested, they get flagged by the police. And instead of going to court, they get to come to a community accountability board, and that board is made up of folks who live in that neighborhood, pastors, and it's a restorative justice practice. So we're working with 18 to 25-year-olds and saying, instead of sending you to court and jail, let the community and you work out an agreement that you all mutually agree to, and you work that out. So young person, 18 to 25, gets the opportunity to go in front of their peers, their community, and say, this is what I did wrong. I'm sorry for it. How do we make an agreement for me to pay my restitution without going to court or jail, right? So do I need to go back to school and get my GED? Let's figure out what that looks like. Do I need a job? Do I want to do community service? That's an agreement, and if I don't do it and I don't finish, then yeah, you got to go in front of the judge. Right? Because you made an agreement that you didn't keep, so now we got to come back because we don't want to be soft on crime. Right? You all know there's some folks on the streets who we need to get off the street because they're causing a lot of havoc in our community, so enforcement's got to be a part of it, but we don't want to make everybody go to jail. Chief will tell you all day long, I can arrest all the people you want me to. It's not changed our numbers. We've got the same numbers we've had for years, so saying more police on the street, arresting more folks is not the answer. So community accountability boards, I believe, are going to have a huge impact on making sure a lot of our young people can reintegrate and recommit themselves to the community and not have to go through jail and have a hard life. We've also been doing part of what the ceasefire model is. We're calling them call-ins, where we identify known felons who we know have 2 or 3 violent felons on their books. We knock on their door, the Viper unit knocks on their door, invites them out to a community conversation. We say, bring your support group, bring your family, your kids, whoever it is that supports you, come out and hear what we have to say. And when you get in the room, you have the community, the moral voice, the faith community, you have resources. We've got Goodwill Industries in the room who has been great at helping those with felons find jobs. We've got child support in the room who's willing to work out a deal with you while you're in the space, saying if you've got money that you owe to the state, maybe we can help alleviate some of those arrearages so we can take some of that stress off your back. We've got Two Not One in the room. We've got Urban League in the room. We've got folks in the room who can provide services to these folks who say, we can help you get back on track. But we also have law enforcement, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, our Metro Police. And what we're saying on that side is that if you screw up again, understand if you commit another violent felony, we're going to bring the federal law against you. Because if federal comes and gets you, that means you got to spend your time in the federal. But we want you to take this side. We want you to take advantage of these resources. We want to help you get back on track, but also know that if you screw up again, we are going to have to come and hit you with the federal law because you're not getting the message that things have changed. And, you know, we're also trying to work on a number of things. When Doug talked about the young black men, there's 2 national programs that we've committed ourselves to through the mayor's office and through a number of community folks in the room. Cities United. Cities United is a mayor-led initiative. Mayor Nutter out of Philadelphia and Mayor Landrieu out of New Orleans has called on other mayors to say, what can we do as mayors in our communities to reduce the number of violent deaths among black men and black boys? Real targeted population. What can we do as mayors to stop young black men and young black boys from dying? Right? So Mayor Fisher signed on. I'm the point person from that. Our Louisville Urban League was one of 3 urban leagues across the country picked to say, what can we as an urban league do in our role to help the mayor and the community build a plan to stop the violent deaths of our black men and black boys? We've been working real close with our faith community and the black community organizations in the neighborhoods, and really saying, what can we do? What is our role to stop these young men from dying? And we've also signed up for what we're calling Black Male Achievement. We call it Black Male Achievement Louisville. How do we create better outcomes for our young black men and black boys? From the cradle all the way to career to reentry. What is it that we can do for this population to get to better outcomes? And one of the things we're real clear about, and one of the things we are saying when we're in the room together is that we can't just talk about the bad side. We got to talk about the good side too. There's a number of young men, black men, who are making it, who are doing well, who graduate from JCPS every year, but because we don't think about that and talk about them, they feel left out of the conversation. So what are we doing to help these? Last year, I think 1,002 young black men graduated from JCPS. Where did they end up? What are they doing? And what are we doing to help make sure that they get to where they want to be next, right? 45% of them said they wanted to go to college. Did they go to college? Did they make it to college? Did we do all that we could do as a community to make sure they got there? Those who wanted to go to work, did we get them to work? Or did we set it up so they're out here now and graduated high school and they got to figure it out on their own? Where are we at for those who are doing the things that they're supposed to do while we're working on issues over here for those who have gotten off track, who we want to help get back on track? So I just wanted to come and give us some numbers, tell you all some of the stuff that we're doing. If you've not seen our blueprint for safe and healthy neighborhoods, please go on the mayor's website and download that. Call me anytime if you have any ideas, solutions, or if you think we're not doing enough. Call and say, you need to be here. I've not seen you here. This group of kids want to talk to you. They can help you figure out some stuff. We're real open and we're real accessible. We know we don't have all the answers, but we know we got to do something. And I'm trying to stay in my lane while everybody else stays in their lane, but I'm here to be a part of this conversation and really see what we can do. Because if you look at the leadership that we have in place in Louisville, in my opinion, this is the right time to make the changes that we all have been wanting to be made, but we've got to be pushed, we've got to be ready, and everybody's got work to do. So I want to thank you all again for coming out and braving the code. the ice, and hopefully nobody slips and fall, and we all get home safe.
What did I tell you? You think I could steal him to Lexington? Would that be that? Oh, no, no. But, we started something new this event. We're starting the awards, and we call it the Peace Awards, Youth Alert Peace Awards. We're going to give one to an adult and one to a youth, hopefully every 2 months, people who care about peace and are doing something about it. And we would like to present Anthony Smith with this first ever Youth Alert Award for 2 reasons. First of all, his incredible ingenuity, and any national program that's out there, he's involved in it. And second, for walking the walk. A lot of people talk about teamwork. We all know teamwork's the way to do it. This guy came to Lexington. This guy's here today, and I've seen him in the community. He's all about team. So we want to give him our first Peace Award.
Thank you.
Is it too early to talk about Mayor Smith? Too early to Mayor Smith? Okay, I'm sorry.